Cycle 2, CalTPA. And, so before we start, just a little bit of housekeeping. For one, how is, okay, so for one, everyone should, if you're not already registered, under, for CalTPA, you should get registered, pay that $150, get registered. So when we roll around to the 14th of this month, then you can just be ready to drop your cycle. We're in cycle 1. No, cycle 2. Yeah, I do cycle 1 on Fridays, and you be ready to drop your cycle 2 in the window on April 14th, which is coming quickly. So, hey, Brendan, hold on a second before I take any questions. So just be ready for that. You should be working your steps. You should be getting things done. It's one thing to come here and engage and listen, but it's another thing to be working on your own and building, collaborating with your master teacher or whoever you need to in order to get things completed. And secondly, I did drop those documents back in the window. Did everybody see it? Did anybody see it? Anyway, they're in the window. I know nobody's going to support me. They're in the window. And if you go in there, and if the document doesn't populate, just, when you click on it, just hit download and it should pop. And there are a lot of different things there for you to take a look at and use. Ellie, do you see it? Is it? Yeah, okay. All right, so anyway, it's there, and I think I call them example 1 through 12, and then I call it more examples 1 through 9. So all that stuff is there for you. Go through each one of those and use them. Let them guide you, let them inform you. They're very helpful, and it's just a lot of eclectic stuff. There's some videos there and so on and so forth, all right? Brendan, quick question. What's up, brother?
Oh, hey, so I'm just wondering for the fees, like when to register for the CalTPA. Like, I'm with the Department of Rehab and my DOR advisor
Okay,
is...
Brendan, what I want you to do is let's talk offline about that. Right after class, I'll hang and I'll work with you and get you all sorted. Is that cool, brother? Or you can text me or call me. All right.
All right. Yeah, I did try to call earlier, but
yeah, I was in a meeting and doing a bunch of other stuff. So, all right. So thank you, brother Brendan. I appreciate you. Okay. All right, folks. So next order of business. Bettina, what's up? How are you?
Hi, sorry. So the videos I was just clicking here, I was able to open them. So thank you so much. The text files, though, I was not. And I don't know if it's on my end or if anybody else was able to do it.
The text
I'm getting
file.
like a bunch of codes. It says text only.
Well, let me take a look through those. But just
The
go
videos
through
are good. Thank you.
and see what you can open. There's a bunch of stuff there. And, if you can't open them, download it. Just hit the download button.
Yeah,
okay?
it doesn't allow me, but yeah, okay.
Yeah, well, after class, let me I'll go into, right towards the end, I'll go into student view and see what's going on. But that's been the vein of my existence. But anyway, folks, the next thing I just want to ask, how is everyone doing? Are you finding yourself working? Is this making sense for you? Or is this a waste of your time? Can I get a comment? Carlos, you okay, brother?
Yeah, if anything, I would say that it's a lot. I mean, it's a lot easier to grasp compared to cycle 1 because we already have an idea of how the TPAs are like. So,
okay.
But I mean, the detail that we go here, it is helpful, especially when it comes to the videos.
Okay, thanks, brother. All right. Anyone else? So I'm gonna assume I'm doing this like informal assessment and no one's responding. So I'm gonna assume, all I could do is assume that this is
Well,
working
I have
for
my
you.
hand raised.
Yeah, hi Brendan.
All right, sorry. I was just gonna say that, I don't know, I was feeling a little bit stressed about everything. Like so far I have been getting stuff done, and I'm gonna be starting like my cycle 2 lesson in like 2 weeks. But
Okay.
I guess I was just feeling overwhelmed and feeling like I couldn't, get it done in time, or like, I have a lot of documents and yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, I really appreciate you, man. And like I said, just keep hitting me up. Okay. You text me, and when you feel stressed, hit me up and I'll walk you through it. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Brendan.
I have a suggestion.
Hi, Dorothy.
Hi, I think it'd be really helpful if you maybe screen shared an example response, to Rubric, and then highlighted how they hit the score of 3, or like what they were missing or what they could add. Maybe that would be helpful, or is that too much?
Yeah, that's a kind of a lot. That's I hear what you're saying. That works with a really smaller group. And if anyone wants to do some smaller groups of like 8 or 6 or 3 or 4, hit me up, and then we can put something together and we can do some real detail like that. But in this sense, what I can do, and if on Zoom it's hard, in a classroom it's easier, So, but I hear what you're saying, Dorothy. Hit me up towards the end, send me something, and put together a group small, and I'll go through those very detailed procedures with you. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Dorothy. All right, so let's go on and get back on the horse. We left off last week. I think we were in step 1, right? In plan. Where were we last week? Is anybody with me? Am I here all alone?
I think we were on we were going to talk about the annotations.
Okay, so did we talk about videos? We went into step 2, right?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So we were into step 2. So let's go into step 2. And I don't remember exactly where we left off, but we were talking about the video clip 1. We talked about that. Video clip 2. We talked about that. Video clip 3. And so let's just do a check-in on video clip 1, video clip 2, and video clip 3. And let's start with video clip 1. Does everyone feel comfortable with what you're expected to do with video clip 1?
Dr. Robinson or Quentin, this is Michelle.
Hi, Michelle. How are you?
Hi, good, thank you. What would be helpful to me, and I don't know about anyone else, but if you could give me your short list or summary, sort of, and maybe that's what you're about to do, sort of recapping the essentials for each video, that would be great.
Yeah, and that's just exactly, that's just what we're gonna do. So very good. But okay, and I'll wrap it up. So any other questions about video clip 1? Does everyone understand it before I start, spouting off again? And I'll go through the videos again, Michelle. Now, I want to tell you all, and Brendan, I think your hand is up. You might want to put it down because there you go, brother. Thank you. So these videos are very important. It's highly important that you get your videos right. I sent some examples of videos in there. You only have a 5-minute window to do exactly what they ask you to do. So let's go back over video clip 1, and then I'll go over 2 or 3, and then I'll start talking about the annotations that go along with the videos, okay? Because it's one thing for a person to, and that's going to be the evaluator, to go to your CTC that you drop into the window, and they pull it open and they start looking at your videos. They're looking at a video, and in some cases, things may be very clear and very laid out, but it's the annotations that's going to help them really understand your video. So let's go over video clip 1. It's select a video clip that demonstrates, and again, when we say select a video clip, CTC is assuming that you're going to do a full 45-minute or hour of filming, okay? And then after you do your filming, then you're going to pull out a 5-minute clip. You can't edit it. You can only pull that clip out. And that 5-minute clip for video clip 1, how you and multiple students, 2 or more, engage with content to develop the vocabulary, terminology, academic language development necessary for the language demands in the lesson. They want to see you demonstrating that with 2 or more students. Okay, you can do it with like the whole class in that 5-minute video clip, but they want to see that occurring and that happening in that 5-minute clip. Okay. All right, Quentin, that's great. All right, good. Then let's go over to video clip 2. All right. Select a video clip that demonstrates the following: how multiple students, 2 or more, and keep this in mind, you can decide how you want to do this. You can think about, it'd be better if I do the whole class. It would be better if I just focus on 2 students. And now, if you decide to focus on 2 students, if you decide to focus on your class, prep your class. Let your class know that let your students know what's going on. Let them know that you're in school and this is a project you have to do. You know, you can get your class ready. All CTC wants to know is, can you demonstrate and show this to us? Get your class prepped, get your students together, and then make this piece happen. Is that clear? Is everyone following me? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, no question, right? Okay, so video clip 2, how multiple students, 2 or more, and you decide whether you want to do a large group, the whole class, and have that being however you decide it, okay? But it has to be 2 or more. We're actively using educational technology to engage in or demonstrate their content-specific learning, okay? In this clip, you could say classes, okay, let's get to our computers out. However you decide to do it, get your iPhone out, whatever you're using for the technology, okay? Multiple students, 2 or more, must be seen and heard in clip 2 using educational technology to learn or demonstrate content. They have got to be actively engaging in the process, okay? All right. It is optional for the candidate to be seen in this video, okay? So like we said last week, you could either be seen in this video clip or not. However, in video clip 1, you must be seen, okay? And this one, it's optional. Emily, I'll get you in 2 seconds, but I see you, okay? It's optional. Video clip, because the focus is on students using educational technology to learn, okay? And your voice could be guiding that process, so they don't need to see you. They just want to see the students using that technology, however you do it. In one of the video clips I showed you, there's a teacher there and he goes over to 2 students. They have their computers open. He leans over them and he starts to engage. He says, see, and it's just this active process that's going on and it makes sense, okay? Emily, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Nice to see you. Talk to me.
So, as far as like students being seen and heard, like I'm thinking of having an interactive like presentation for this educational portion where they're on their Chromebooks engaging, but it isn't like very discussion heavy. Like they'll be doing things in response to my prompts, kind of like you just said. But as far as hearing them, like, I mean, does it need to
You know what?
I get.
And I want you to know, I hear what you're saying. And if you take a look at one of those videos that I sent you, like I said, this
Mhm.
teacher leans in and he says, he starts a conversation with them and he says, okay, and they're engaging in conversation. He says, okay, go on your computers. And he starts to talk with them and they start to talk back with him. And he chose just 2 students. He goes over to 2 specific students and he starts that process. And you can actually hear the students and you can hear him engaging in dialogue. And you can see the students engaging with the computers.
Okay.
Okay. So on this one, you might, however you decide to do it. I don't want to push you into it, but you might want to focus. So the focus is very narrow and they can see and hear. Okay.
Okay. Thank
Okay.
you.
Very good, Emily. Thank you. Hi, Nina. How are you?
Hi, I'm okay, I guess. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you for asking.
I have a question. Since some of us seem to be having issues looking at the videos as we're talking about them, would you perhaps be able to, by example, so you're talking about something and then you give us these examples, would you be able to share them with us right as you talk about them? I think that would be really helpful. Like right now you were talking about video clip 2 and then maybe watching an example that you had posted of video clip 2 in that moment. Maybe that would be helpful for everyone.
Yeah, it could be, but here's the thing, and here's where I'm feeling a little, and here's the thing, because I don't want to, there's a lot of different ways that this can be done. This can be done with a whole classroom. It could be done with 4 students.
Mhm.
It can be done with 8 students. It can be done with 3 or 2. And I don't want to show you and walk you through a video clip of 2 and make you think that you get that locked in your mind that you have to, ooh, Quentin showed us this and he walked us through. So therefore, I'm going to just do 2 students. I need you to hear what I'm saying. And then I need you to go, oh, I'm going to be creative on this. I'm going to use a whole classroom because I don't have a clip of a whole classroom. And I don't have a,
I understand.
yeah.
I just think kind of as a maybe to reinforce some of the ideas that you're giving us, because by the end of the night, it's obviously a very much that we're going through. But if we took it kind of bite-sized and then saw an example of it, of what it could look like, I think we're all on this understanding that these are just examples of what it could look like. I think that might be helpful just to make it a little.
And the other thing is, I don't have a lot of clips to share. I only have that one. So let me think about that. And I don't have a clip I don't have something for clip 1. I don't have something for clip 3. I don't have something for clip 4. I just have this kind of sparse information to share. But I want you to know I hear you, and I'll give that some thought because we have some time tonight. Maybe we can roll around and see how that works. Okay. Brother Nicholas, how are you? Thank you, Nina.
Hi, good evening.
How are you?
Trucking along. On video clip 2, when we show the students using the educational technology, I think we discussed this last week, but I just want to double check. So in the music classroom, if I'm showing students using their cell phones to record themselves playing something on an instrument and they're hearing it back so they can assess themselves or something like that, I mean, that's good enough for video clip 2 then.
Yes. And keep this in mind. They want to, like they said, they want to hear and see the student engaging. So if you're gonna, let's say you do your music and you have them listen to something, or you may have them record and then play it back, then you want to engage them in some kind of process. Okay.
Okay.
You want to say, hey, what did you think about? You want to engage them in a process so there is some dialogue. They're using the technology, but they're also engaging with you, engaging with the technology. Okay.
Yeah.
So you follow me?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Okay, how's everyone doing so far? Okay, let's keep going. Let's go down to video clip 3. Now, this is a recap from last week, okay? So listen, so select a video clip that demonstrates the following, all right? How you provide opportunities for multiple students, again, 2 or more, to engage in deep learning of content to develop their age or developmentally appropriate higher order thinking skills. Okay, so again, this is where that higher order thinking skill comes in. They want to see you engaging with students and moving them to a higher order of thinking. If you're doing a lesson on the importance of water and rain, they want you to do something with your students, 2 or more, that causes them to ask deeper questions or to have them sort of spark into a higher order of thinking that relates to the content of the lesson. Does that make sense to everyone? Okay, now here's again, when we talk about higher order thinking, you can go back in the glossary, take a look at that again, but they want to see some type of synthesis, some type of analysis, some type of evaluation, an interpretation, or a transfer of knowledge from your students. They want to see you engaging with them. And they're asking questions based on the lesson and the content, okay? Now, I know you all do this. You do this in your teaching. CTC wants to see an example of it, and they want to see that you can recognize it, acknowledge it, and bring it out in your students, okay? And then again, with this same video clip, how you provide actionable feedback to the students in the moment. So in this video clip, there's going to be a lot of dialogue. You're going to be, if a student asks you a question, you're going to respond back to the student and that higher order thinking that they bring up and engage in that process. Does that make sense? Okay, and again, how you provide actionable feedback to the student in that moment. All right. And the last part of this video clip, how you adjust your instructions in the moment based on the results of informal assessment to meet the students' learning needs. They want to see an example of informal assessment. Okay, and once you do that informal assessment, do you adjust your lesson up or do you adjust your lesson down? And I want to see a show of thumbs or thumbs up, thumbs down. How many of you understand what I'm talking about? Because an informal assessment is a very important part of this cycle. Okay, very good. You have got to do that informal assessment. Class, how are you doing? How's everyone feeling? Did everyone understand what I said about the lions? Do you understand why the lion left his cub? And then if a student goes, oh no, I don't understand that. It didn't make any sense to me. Then maybe you need to go back and do that lesson again and make it clear so you're adjusting down. And what if a student says, oh yeah, I understand that. And what's going to happen once the cub goes off to the forest? Then you may adjust your lesson up and start moving forward with that. So you have to do some type of informal assessment. This is very important that you bring this out in video clip 3. All right. Are there any questions? How's everyone doing?
Doing good.
Okay, great. And Emily, give me 1 second. And then we'll go over video clip 4, and then we'll talk about annotations. And Amy, I forgot, but I want to keep reiterating this. These videos are important. And you have to get these 5-minute windows right on point. And as you start to think about doing your video, I encourage you to go over the clips, what's required of the clips again. And then if you decide to do a 5-minute video where you start it and you've already timed it and you got yourself 5 minutes, make sure that you address everything in that segment and then stop your camera right at 5 minutes. If you decide to do a full lesson, then within that lesson window, you are going to have to prepare for each one of these video clips. Does that make sense to everyone? So when you finish that 45-minute lesson, you'll be able to go in and pull out clip 1. You'll be able to go in and pull out clip 2, and you'll go in and pull out clip 3 and clip 4. And here's the last final thing before I go to Emily. Do not edit the videos. If you edit it, it will be rejected by CTC and it'll be like you didn't do it and you will get a condition code. Is that clear? And the last thing before I go to Emily, you can do up to 5 minutes, but you can't do a penny over 5 minutes. Emily, talk to me, and thanks for waiting.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you. So the only part that I was wondering if you could talk about a little more is how you provided actionable feedback in the moment. And so is that kind of like, answering the question and then changing your instruction, I guess, for the whole class? Or like, can you just expand on maybe that second bullet?
Yeah, absolutely, Emily. And that's a good question. And then I see iPhone, you have your hand up. Give me 1 second, okay? But actionable feedback in the moment. That was almost like the dialogue that Nina and I were having. We're having a conversation. Nina's asked me something and we're talking back and forth, okay? And it's actually in that particular moment. It's like if the student says, I don't understand why lions sleep all day. And you read it in the book, but it didn't make any sense to me. Then your feedback is, well, did you understand when they were talking about how lions eat a lot, and when they eat a lot, they go sleep? Did you remember we talked about that? And that's the actionable feedback. And then you can say, well, what do you think is the reason why lions sleep a lot? That's the actionable feedback in the moment. When that student reaches out to you and engages with you, then you engage right back with that student in that moment. And based on how the student engaged with you, the next part of your lesson goes higher or you readjust it so that your students, so that everyone in that class is getting the content of the lesson. Does that make sense for you, Emily?
Yes. And so, I was thinking of doing this part in like a smaller group. So
Okay.
in that case, would they want you to then, like if you're working in groups, you're giving feedback to one group, but then
Okay.
do they want to see like you kind of zooming out and changing it for everybody?
No. If you decide to work with, because when we go back here on all these videos, it reads 2 or more students. So if you're working with 2 students and you have that situation where you're looking and you're doing some, getting some that actionable feedback, you can work it with 2 students. So you don't have to pan out and do the whole class. They just want to see it happening with those 2 students. And I hope I'm answering your question. But here's the thing. Okay, very good. Here's the thing. CTC wants to see you demonstrating these important skills in the classroom. They want to know that you have the ability to engage in the moment, adjust up or adjust down, and to do that continuous, important, informal assessment. Because, you know, we have these 3 assessments, and the only one that doesn't ask for a rubric is the informal assessment. So this is the one CTC wants to see you demonstrating, okay? And this is going to happen in the video clip. The other one, you're going to talk about formal assessment, and you have a rubric that goes along with it. The student assessment, you're going to talk about that, and you're going to have the student engage with it, and there's a rubric that goes along with it. The informal assessment has to come out in the video clip, all right?
Okay,
All right,
thank you.
thank you. Okay, iPhone, you had your hand up. And,
What's up, Daniel?
hey man, how are you? It's nice to see you.
Sorry, just at the gym trying to, get a little workout. Anyway, my question was just about the clips.
About
Do they
the what?
all need to be from, about the clips?
Okay, talk to me about the clips.
Yeah, do they all need to be from one lesson?
They should all be around the same lesson. Imagine if you did a 45-minute clip, okay? If you did a 45-minute clip and you went pulling those videos out of there, yes, it has to be around the same lesson. And that's that lesson plan that you have. It has to be around the same lesson. You can't do something this day and then something totally irrelevant the next day and they have these video clips. They should all be connected, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, just because I was saying, like, if I have like a 2-day project where they're doing a model on ecosystems, it's all the same like content, but it's taking like multiple days to do. Can I pull from both of those?
Yeah. As long as it's the same lesson that you're running, you can pull from both of those. Absolutely.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, brother. Anina, how are you?
Hi, I have another question specifically about the formal assessment.
Okay.
So I know that we're supposed to capture when we give formal assessment, but I'm wondering what that could look like for music where, for example, we have a choir performance as a formal assessment. How would we pull out specific formal assessments for specific students out of that?
Well, with your formal assessment, what you're doing more so with the formal assessment, you have your rubric, and then you have the formal assessment that you're going to be drawing up. It's going to be a hard document.
Well, for music, it isn't. For music, it could be a performance.
Okay. Yeah, and I don't, well, you're going to have a rubric attached to that. You're going to have them do something and then build a rubric around it.
The rubric is not the issue. I'm wondering about, because I know we have to pull out like specific students out of that for the formal assessment. How would you have any advice on how we can do that for music?
Let me think about that, Nina, because I think that's a very, very good question, and I need to let me think about that. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, interesting. Let me think about that, and I'll get back with you. Okay, Nina. Brendan, how are you?
Hey, so if the lesson, if all 4 video clips are supposed to be from the same lesson on the same day, like how would you set that up? Because I'm trying to do a DB2, like 2 days of the DB2, and then like the 3rd day is the like I was gonna have the students do like a student self-assessment document. Like, how would I frame it so that like I'm doing like a self-assessment and then the other 3 all in one day? Like,
You know what, Brendan, if your lesson runs for 2 days, then you have a 2-day lesson. If your lesson runs for 1 day, then you have a 1-day lesson to work with. So if you're doing your lesson and your lesson happens for 2 days, then you have that much video footage to work from. Okay.
Oh, okay. So like for the 4 clips, I can use it if it's a 2-day lesson. It just has to be one lesson.
Correct. And some people may get just enough time, maybe 30 minutes one day and 30 minutes the next day, but you're conducting the same lesson and it builds and culminates. Okay.
Oh, okay. Now you've made it clear. Thank you.
Thank you, Brendan. iPhone, is your hand up again? No. Okay, let's go to video clip 4, folks. So video clip 4, and then after video clip 4, we're going to talk about your annotations, okay? So video clip 4, select the video clip that demonstrates the following: how you modeled the use of the student self-assessment and rubric. Okay, how you modeled the use of the student self-assessment and rubric. Okay, so you're gonna be showing your students how to use the self-assessment and the rubric. How do you model that to your students? And second bullet, one or more students using the rubric to self-assess their understanding of the content. So now you're going to model and then have the students engaging in the self-assessment and the rubric. Okay, last bullet, how you provided in the moment feedback to one or more students based on their self-assessment. Okay, so they want you to model it, help them engage through it, and then provide in the moment feedback to one or more students. So again, now it gets down to you, going over to one student, showing you and that student, you're leaning over and you're engaging with the student around the self-assessment. All right. So these are your 4 video clips. Now, before I go into annotations, I'll ask, are there any questions? Hi, Brooke.
Hi, it's not really a question. I just wanted to clear something up because we were talking about like how many days your lesson plan should be over or whatever. I'm looking on the assessment guide right now, and it says that you should develop a plan for a series of 3 to 5 content-specific lessons that occur over multiple days. So I just wanted to clear that up if that helps with anything. It says it could be like part of a unit, like a larger unit, but
Right.
it should be like a, cohesive string of lessons.
And we talked about that in step 1, that they're all connected. It can go, some people will finish their lessons in 1 day. Some people will use it in 2 days, but whatever the case, it's the same process running across whatever time frame you run it. Okay, and they're all connected. It's not like you're doing one thing one day and then something totally different the next day. These lessons all have to connect and relate to each other. They follow that chain action. Okay, so when you start pulling from these different lessons, you're pulling from the same lesson that occurred. Some people do all their lessons one time, and some people do the lessons over a couple of days. So that is what that is all about. So yes, you're 100% correct. And we did talk about that. So you're on point. All right. Thank you, Brooke. Nicholas.
Yeah, so my question is about the student self-assessment.
Okay.
I know that with the formal assessment, it says in the guide that it has to be every single individual student submitting something to be assessed by the teacher. Like it can't be like a group thing. It has to be, each student has to submit something to be assessed by the teacher. For the student self-assessment, can that include maybe like a small group of students assessing them on something? Like can they do like a small group thing for that? Or does that also have to be?
Well, let's go over this. Let's go over this again, okay? And then right after this, we'll go into annotations, but very good question, Nicholas. So video clip 4, select a video clip that demonstrates the following: how you modeled the use of the student self-assessment and rubric. And that should happen largely, globally, on a larger scale. Point 2, one or more students using the rubric to self-assess their understanding of the content. So in this piece, you can work with one student, or you can work with more students. It's up to you. You can lean in and see and show yourself engaging with one student. So it reads one or more students using the rubric to self-assess their understanding of the content. You can do it with one student, or you can do it with two students, or three students, or four students, or you can just talk to your whole population, one or more, okay? And then the last part, how you provided in the moment feedback to one or more students based on their self-assessment results. So do you follow me? So you have, CTC is giving you an option here, okay?
So it could be the whole class. It could be like a group of 3 or 4 students, as long as I'm engaging with them on how to.
Exactly. You can decide on this one. And even when we go back and we talk about the video clip 1, video clip 2, or video clip 3, as you read through, let's look at 1 again. It reads how you and multiple students, and then they have in parentheses 2 or more. That means you can do 2, or you can do 3, or you can do 4, or you can do 5. You decide. Okay. How you doing, Nicholas?
I'm
No,
hanging in there.
It's a good question. It's a good question. And one thing, folks, when you read through the assessment booklet, have a highlighter in your hand and highlight. And remember, pay close attention to what CTC is asking of you. It could, sometimes they say, they let you know it's clear, it's the whole class. In some places they tell you it's 2 or more. So you can decide on how you bring that piece out in the video. All right, good question, Nicholas. Okay, now let's talk about the annotations that go along with the videos. How many of you, give me a thumbs up before I start saying anything about it. How many of you know anything about the annotations? Thumbs up, thumbs down. All right, cool. It's good. I see some responses. Thank you. Okay, good job. Okay, so let's start to break this whole annotation thing down. Where do I start? Okay, and I'm reading right from the guide on page 19. Your annotations are brief text explanations that highlight your practice and are attached to specific time-stamped points in a video clip. All right. Use each of the 4 annotations at least once across the 4 video clips. So does everyone follow that? I want to go through this one more time, that you bite into this and you clearly understand this so that you don't make a mistake. It reads, your annotations are brief text explanations, and the text explanations are going to be what you write in the text. Now, you're only allowed 1,000 characters. Okay, and 1,000 characters, THE. How many characters is that?
3.
Absolutely, that's 3 characters. Period, that's a character. A space is a character. All right, keep that in mind. You're only allowed 1,000 characters. So I'll read it again. Your annotations are brief text explanations that you write that highlight your practice and are attached to specific timestamps. So that means if you have a 5-minute video, you know how when you go through that 5-minute video, it shows you like 5.03, 5 point, and then it keeps breaking down. Do you understand that? Does everyone understand that?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So when you put an annotation, you're going to attach it to a timestamp. You're going to say, you'll start off with at 3.2, you will notice I have leaned in and I'm discussing the video technology with the student. Or you can put at 4.1, you will notice I am doing an informal assessment with the student. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, let's keep going and we'll keep breaking this down, okay? If there are any questions, raise your hand. I see there's things in the text and in the chat. Thank you. Okay, I'll try to take a look at the chats too as we go. But anyway, I'll keep going. Use each of the 4 annotations at least once across your 4 video clips. What does that sentence mean? It reads, use each of the 4 annotations at least once across the 4 video clips. And now when you go over to page 20, you'll see the annotation titles. They give you 4 annotation titles that you're going to be using. The first, and I'm going to read this and then I'll come back and I'm going to ask this question. What does this mean when it reads use each of the 4 annotations at least once across the 4 video clips? I want to know what that means, okay? So, okay, hold on one second. I want to read this other part and then I want to ask what that means, okay? So thanks, Brandon. Give me just a second here. So here are the annotation titles that they're asking you to use. Here's the first one: assessing students' learning and development of academic language. Explain why students are engaged in specific learning activities focused on developing academic language to learn / assess the content. Here's your second annotation title: students using educational technology provide a rationale for how students' use of educational technology supports or demonstrates their content-specific learning. Number 3, providing content-specific feedback to students. Explain why you provided actionable content-specific feedback about informal or self-assessment results to the students, and how the actionable feedback was intended to support students to advance their learning. And here's the last annotation title: Assessing Student Learning and Use of Age and/or Developmentally Appropriate Higher Order Thinking Skills. Explain why you implemented specific assessment strategies that provided the students opportunities to engage in the use of age and/or developmentally appropriate higher order thinking skills. Again, analyze, synthesize, evaluate, interpretations, transfer, to learn about the content and how you adjusted your instructions in the moment based on the results. We're going to come back to these titles again, but let's go back to this question that I propose. It reads, use each of the 4 annotations at least once across the 4 video clips. What does that mean?
All right. Does that mean making sure to use all 4 annotations at least once in all 4 video clips?
Correct. Very good.
All right.
Very good. Thank you, Brendan. So now let me ask you folks, what else does that mean? Does that mean, what else does it mean? Brendan hit the nail directly on the head. What else does it mean?
So I do have a question. So when it comes to annotation, so I have to use each of the 4 for each video. So I have to use assessing student learning, students using of technology, content-specific feedback, and then assessing student learning on the use, in this case, of age of developmentally appropriate higher order thinking skills. So I have to use those 4 once for each video, or one across every video?
You got to use one across each of those 4 videos. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Those are going to apply to each of those 4 videos. And no one, and the time is dripping by fast, and no one is saying what I want you to say. But here's the thing. Brendan and Carlos are right. You're going to use one of those annotations throughout each videos. But here's the thing. You can use those annotations as much as you like across the videos. You can use those annotations to really make your video clip clear to the viewer. Is everyone following me? Nicholas, you have your hand up. And please, if you have a question, ask your question. Just say, Quentin, that doesn't make sense to me. Or Quentin. Okay, very good.
Yeah, I need to clarify something. So let's just take one of the titles as an example.
Okay.
Let's just say if I say I want to use students using educational technology.
Okay.
Now just that title alone, that doesn't have to be used in all 4 clips, but if I use it at least once out of the 4 clips, then that box is checked then.
Very good. And where would you, and if you were going to use those clips just one time, which I don't suggest, and through those 4 videos, where would you use that clip, Nicholas? Where would you put it? Under which video? Which video? Video 1, video 2, video 3, or video 4?
Technology. That would be video clip 2.
Very good. Yeah. Because that's the one where that is being emphasized, right?
Okay. Yeah.
However, you can also, maybe in that same video clip, there's something happening that shows that provides content specific feedback to students. Something like that could be occurring in video clip 2 also. You follow me?
Yeah, I got it.
So you can, folks, you can use, I encourage you to use these annotations. Man, just use them. I mean, go into your videos, see where this is happening. And I gave you, through those examples, I gave you some examples of annotations. Use them to help explain your videos and to showcase your ability and what you're doing with your students. Imagine a person watching your video. Now they have these little annotated clips that they can, that's going to say, oh, at 4.1, you're going to notice that I'm doing an informal assessment with the students. You'll also notice that I help the student with higher order thinking here to think more deeply about the way rain falls. Okay, do you follow me? You can use these clips as much as you want, and they are very necessary to helping the viewer understand your video. Okay? Are there any questions, any thoughts about the annotations? We're not finished, but I want to give you some time to process this a little bit, and then to say, hey, Quentin, I have a question.
Well, I just have a comment, Quentin. So basically, the more annotations we have, it's basically to be as descriptive as we can, right, to the viewer. Is that pretty much what they want to see?
You know what? Yes, those annotations are really a help in highlighting your videos and pulling out things that maybe they didn't catch. You know, one student used this video, and it's I can't look at your video and say, oh, this is great. He asked us not to do that. They only allow us to do what we're doing right now, and that's to engage you in conversation around that. And what I would encourage you to do, if you have friends here, show your videos to each other. Let someone else look at it and let them say, I can't hear the student there. Or I didn't see you in the clip. I only saw just a little bit of your shirt. And you might need to do this again and show yourself, okay? So someone had used the video clip one time, the annotations, and they explained out what was, what the annotation asked them to do. And then they also wrote, the quality on my system was bad. You probably didn't hear the student say that she understood. They use the annotations to really bring things out for the viewer. Okay, they'll put it, here at 3.2, my student did say, you probably didn't hear it because but that was them, and they use the annotations. You can use them as much as you like, and I encourage you to use them to help your viewer get a clear picture to really understand your video clip. Okay? How is everyone doing? Okay, I'm gonna keep going. Thanks, Brother Eric. So I'm gonna read this annotation piece again. Oh, Nicholas, why you have your what does that mean?
Just a mini freak out, that's all.
Oh man. Okay, I'm gonna read this annotation again, and I'm gonna add these other two pieces onto that conversation. And I know this is a lot, folks, to bite into. I'm not gonna burden you with too much more tonight, but I wanna make sure that you understand how important these videos are and how significantly important it is for you to follow the instructions. Everything they ask you to do in these video clips, do them. Don't do less, don't overdo it, do what they ask you to do. And these annotations will help solidify the success of your video and the clarity of your video. So here we go. Your annotations are brief text explanations that you write in relation to what the title is that highlight your practice. That keyword, it highlights, brings out the essence of your practice, and are attached to specific timelines. Each annotation is attached to a specific timeline. You are not going to have an annotation that doesn't have at 3.1, you will notice that I am doing an informal assessment with the student. Okay? And attached to a specific timeline, timeline points in a video clip or in the video clip. Use each of the 4 annotations at least once across the 4 video clips. For each annotation, you will select an annotation title, the one that we read out, okay, described below, from a drop-down list. Okay, so now here's the thing. When you go into the CTC window, and when you upload your video, and then let me step back and throw this little caveat into the discussion. I don't want any of you going to load this information, your whatever, all the evidence. Okay, when you finish all this work, it's done, and you'll be loading it into the CTC window. I do not want you loading your information at the last minute. From what I understand, it can take some time for the video clips to load in the CTC window. Please give yourself time so that they can load. You have time to maybe go and sweep the floor. Oh, is it loaded yet? Okay, I'll go wash some dishes. And you're not stressing because now it's 11:30 and you're going, oh my God, I was going to get this done before 11:40. You understand me? Give yourself time. And once the video is loaded, there's going to be a drop-down window for the annotations. And you'll be able to cut and paste. Or you can type right there in the moment. You can be watching the video and then loading and doing it that way. Is everyone following me? Or you can cut and paste. And you'll see that when you go into the CTC website, okay? Thanks, Brother Simon. Okay, so let's keep moving. I just gave you that little bit of useful information. Here's the last part. Provide a brief explanation to highlight what you are doing and why it supports student learning. Your explanation must align to what is seen in the video time step you have selected. Whatever timestamp you select to attach, make sure that it fits, it correlates. It's not something different, okay? Is everyone with me? This is an informal assessment. How are you feeling right now? I know this is a lot of information, but has this been just a little clear? Can you bite into this? Thanks, Emily.
Yeah, I could.
Okay, good. Okay, I'm gonna keep going and then I'm gonna let you go because this might be just a little too much. Is everyone understanding annotations? Does it make sense to you? Your annotations and your videos, folks, they are important. Listen, for step 2, you're only providing a little bit of evidence. evidence to be submitted in part 2, and excuse me, in step 2, is part G, 4 annotated video clips. That's it, okay? And then part H, a written narrative, an analysis of informal and student self-assessment. All they want is an analysis of your informal assessment and your student self-assessment, and that's no more than 3 pages. Step 2 is not asking for a lot, but it needs to be quality and it needs to be correct. You do not want your videos rejected because you didn't attach the annotations to it and that you didn't do the simple steps they asked you to do. All right, what are you thinking, folks? Any thoughts?
I'm okay, honestly. The way I'm kind of really approaching cycle 2 is kind of very similar to cycle 1. That's
Okay.
kind of what's kind of reassuring me.
Right.
It's different, but kind of like the steps are kind of similar to what you're doing in cycle 1. It's basically the same thing again, but you're just being assessed at different things. So that's kind of what's giving me a reassurance.
And you are so right, brother. You are right on point. And that's why it's so important to have gone through, cycle 1, because it kind of it informs how you engage with cycle 2. So Everett, thank you for that. And you are correct. That makes very good sense. And my thing is with the videos, slow down, plan it. When you do your lesson, you should make certain that each of these video clips, that things are happening so that you know that it's there. So when you get and you're looking at this and you're looking at this video, you can say, oh, there it is. That's what I planned. It's right there. And you pull it out. Or if you're the kind of person who, you do these 5-minute videos, however you do it, it's up to you. But you need to make sure that what you're going to be looking for after the video has been produced, it's there. Does that make sense to everyone? So that means you have to be deliberate when you're conducting your lesson, okay? All right. Okay, I'm going to go to this call out box at the bottom of page 20 because it's just going to talk about characters a little bit. And I just want to bring that out, and then I'll field some questions, and then, if I'll engage and answer some questions, and then we'll see how we're feeling. Just a quick check-in. How's everyone doing? Are you feeling tired? Are you feeling stressed? Give me a thumbs up, thumbs down. Is everyone okay? This is a wellness check. Oh, what's wrong, Ellie? Is it okay? Is it coming too fast?
No, not at all. I think I love your speed. It's making sense. Like someone else was saying, it's very similar to cycle 1, which I really appreciate them doing that. But yeah, I meet up with a group on Saturday morning, so I'm excited to get started. Someone said in the chat that getting started is the hardest part, and that's where I'm at. So I'm trying to get people around me to push me to get there.
Okay, very good, very good. I like to hear that. And keep in mind, folks, you have, February is almost over. Now we have 30. We have 30 days, and we have more than 30, but I like to, just lock us in. We have these 30 days, that whole month of March. Just, start planning this and start and getting it done. And you're right. If you can just start the process, talk with your master teacher, get that support, and start organizing and setting up, these videos can be done. And let me tell you, folks, once we get cycle 1 and cycle 2, the rest is gravy. It's downhill with cycle 3. Excuse me, not cycle 3, step 3 and step 4. Okay, they're just like checking in on what you've already done. Okay, all right. So let's take a look at this call out box for annotations. Okay, and I just want to read it. I'll read it slow. If you have any question, each annotation title must be used at least once across the 4 video clips. If appropriate, you may use annotation titles multiple times. And they read, if appropriate, is because you don't want to be using them and there's nothing there. If you got something that's jumping off in video 1 that rolled over in clip 2, use it. It's appropriate. Okay? So be sure that your annotation titles and rationale explain the time-stamped segment you have selected. So if you select 3.02, make sure the annotation and that timestamp and that video, they all correlate. Okay? So when that person is looking at 3.2 in the video, they're going to see you doing an informal assessment, or they're going to see your student engaging in higher order thinking, because that timestamp and that video and that annotation are all in sync. Okay. All right, here we go. You may enter up to 1,000 characters. And again, the word is up to. You can't go over 1,000 characters, all right? If you write an annotation rationale in a separate file and copy it into the system, only the first 1,000 characters will be accepted. All right, so if you upload, you cut and paste there, you're gonna, upload, a cut and paste upload. It's only gonna take the first 1,000. The system is just gonna, so make sure you do your counting before you do that transfer from your system over into their area. Is that clear? Okay. And then here's the last part of this. When you upload your annotation video clips for submission, you will be required to assign a label to each file, indicating whether it is clip 1, and what clip 1 is, clip 2, clip 3, or clip 4. Okay, so they're just letting you know that when you drop those clips in there, you're gonna have to drop them in the right spot and let them know that is what it is. How you doing, folks? How's everyone doing? All right. All right, I'm gonna chill here and see if anyone in this larger group has any questions, and then after that, we can swing. I'll let you go, and I'll swing down, and I'll try to answer some other questions. Brother Nicholas, your hand is up. How are you, man?
I just had a question about when it talks about 3 to 5 lessons for this cycle. So 3 to 5 lessons doesn't necessarily mean 3 to 5 days, right?
No, it doesn't.
Okay, so it's like, just like, this is not what I'm going to do, but let's just say if I planned 5 lessons and I knocked them all out in one day, that's another way to go. Okay.
And that's what I was talking about. When you have this clip, or it's 3 to 5, 3 to 5. Let's say you did 3. Let's say you did 3 lessons and you did them all in one day. Then that's what you have. You have that one day. Or if you do, let's say you do 5 lessons. And I think that was Brooke who asked them, they have to all connect, and it may happen over 2 days. But it's the same lesson, just everyone follows me, right?
And so when I'm filling out the templates for each of the lessons, so the same, since they're all connected, the same learning goals have to be present in all 3. I mean, or 3 to 5, right? I mean, let's say if I have 2 learning goals.
Those are your learning goals across the lesson. And when you talk about your explanation in the beginning in step 1, then lay that out. Just be clear. Absolutely.
So like if my first lesson is addressing just one of the learning goals, do I just list that one learning goal in that first lesson?
There you go.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, brother. All right, folks, it's 6:50. How's everyone doing? And I'll be happy to do this. Do I need to, and I'll be happy to, do I need to go over any of the video clips? Video clip 1, 2, 3, or 4? Or do I need to do any explanation again around annotations? We're doing really well in terms of catching up. We've gone through step 1, we've gone through step 2. When we come back, you're going to be like, Quentin, but I'm going to sort of recap again around step 2, and then we're going to move into step 3. Okay. And as I let you go tonight, I'm going to tell you, you have got to be working. And if you're not working, you should be planning. Let me tell you what, folks, it is highly recommended that you get cycle 2 completed in this time frame. It's a win if you get it done. It's nothing but a win. And I think it can be done, and I think it can be done correctly if you just follow the steps and what we've talked about. Everything in this book is bite size. It's clean. It can be done. All right. And then when you get this one off your back, voila, okay. I'm gonna let you go, and then I'm gonna hang around and engage some people. Maybe someone has some questions. And Nina, you and I can chat some more, okay? Anyway, that's it, unless you have any questions, and then I'm gonna be staying around doing some chatting with folks, all right?
Thank you.
Okay, my pleasure. It's good to see everyone.
Thank you, Quentin.
Thank you. Thank you. Whew.
Hello, Dr. Robertson.
No, call me Quentin, man.
Oh, sorry.
How are you doing?
I always try to be formal as a sign of respect, but yeah.
All right. So what's up, Brendan?
All right. So I was trying to say, I wasn't sure if the CalTPA was, what was it? Oh, a DOR. Hold on. Let me pull up the email real quick. I know I have it. Sorry. Oh, if the CalTPA is a authorized DOR vendor, because I know the cost to try to get in is like $150 each for each cycle, but I was trying to check with my DOR, my Department of Rehab, because if it's certain costs, they could be able to reimburse me and my family.
Okay, tell you what, Brendan, let's talk about this offline, okay? So why don't you send me a text message, and then you and I can talk about that, okay?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it'll be my pleasure to engage you, but let's talk offline about that, okay, little brother?
All right. One last question, and this is not related to that. So, I'm doing a lesson plan where it's I'm doing a DBQ, and how do I know if it's 3 to 5 lessons? And
You know what? And that's where you engage with your master teacher. Your master teacher will help you with that. Let them know, and they know that you need to do 3 to 5 lessons. Engage with your master teacher, and your master teacher will be your support around that question, okay?
Okay. All right.
Thank you, brother. It's nice seeing you, Brendan.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Good night.
Okay, good night, brother. Hi. Any other questions? Nina, hi.
I think I just need to, I think I'm struggling a little bit with making it fit music. Music is just such a different subject from like English or math. Like the lessons
Right.
are such a different format. So I'm
Right.
having a little troubles with finding assignments that are within our context that we would normally teach
Okay.
to fit them to these assignments. But
And the only thing I can really suggest, because I'm not I'm not real familiar, with the music. So it's like you and I are speaking these 2 different languages. How about your master teacher? How supportive or how helpful is your master teacher in helping you sort of get through this or to make sense of all this?
I can give an example. I was recording and he walked right up through the lesson and I was like, did you not know that I was recording? He was like, oh, I didn't think it would bother it.
Come on now.
I'm struggling with that too, but yeah.
And what? Go ahead, Nina.
I think I just need to ponder it a little better for especially the formal assessment, because I could give them formal assessments. I'm just stuck on our formal assessment is pretty much the performance of a piece, which is done as a whole choir. We never have the kids do it one-on-one.
Right. But
then,
okay, yeah. But at the same time, Nina, you're going to have to, you can't get around not developing a formal assessment piece of document that you are going to attach to all this information. Now, I want you to know, I hear what you are saying, but CTC is requesting that you develop a formal assessment and a rubric. So you cannot get around that. You're going to have to do it. And you're going to have your students engage in that formal assessment. And that's like non-negotiable. Okay. So when you go back to your evidence, it needs to be a piece of the evidence that's submitted into the window, let's say as part of your package that you submit into the window, okay? And when we go back to formal assessment, you're going to have to follow, we'll say, the rules of what they're asking and have your students engage in that written document and that rubric. And don't not do it, because if you don't do it, you're going to get a condition code.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm struggling with. Like,
right.
But I just need to, maybe for that, I just need to sit down with my MT and just say, do you have any ideas how I can make this work?
Okay, and no, Nina, I'm not going to make any promises, but what I'm going to try, and I'll put a big emphasis on try, what I'm going to try to do is if I can find something, I'll reach out to my counterparts and see if I can find something, some examples around music. I'll see what I can do, okay?
That would be extremely helpful. Thank you so much.
All right, Nina, it's always a pleasure. My favorite cousin is named Nina, and every time I say your name, I think about her, and I think I need to give her a phone call. All right, Nina, take care, and thank you for your voice. I appreciate it, okay?
Thank you.